Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to A Place in Space. It's Tuesday. There's a ton of stuff out again, so let's do it. For those of you who've recently joined us, this is a little segment we do on Tuesdays where we open up the delivery, we stuff everyone's books, and normally we like to yank out books of note, really. They could be new titles, they could be stuff that we think is cool. Frankly, there's a lot of people who've been messaging us recently saying thank you for the videos. I'm not quite sure what these are about, so just a little disclaimer, because I normally charge head on into these, assuming you'll know what I'm doing. If you don't, this is just me prattling on about stuff released this week, which I think is worth a look. So to kick off, there's a lot. Batman One Bad Day. This is the Penguin part brought to you by John Ridley. There's a lot to talk about for John Ridley this week because he's really bloody good and he's got a lot of bloody stuff out. Love it. That's the Penguin issue. Penguin's had a bit of a hard trot recently in all things DCU. He has come up against the Umbrella Man, not particularly great circumstances for himself. We shall see where it goes. I've had a flick through. It looks really quite grisly, which I love. Yeah, that is out now. Chip Zdarsky. At this point, there's probably very little I could say about Chip Zdarsky that I couldn't say in a video that wasn't rating 18+. I love him. However, Batman the Night Part 10 is out now. To everyone I know who's read this has enjoyed it. I've yet to finish the last 5 parts, so I'm woefully behind. But I will join you rereading that again very, very soon indeed. Catwoman Issue 48 is out now. Now, this is Tina Howard dropping a brand new Part 1. I wrote this down. Furious Hearts Part 1 starts here, and this has got gorgeous looking, really quite dark, grisly crime noir artwork. I love it when it's all a little bit moody in Catwoman, when it's a little bit too glitzy and glamorousy, which she can do well, but I find it very good when that's a nugget, and the overall tone of Catwoman, for me, should be one of the night, and a little bit of the macabre. Speaking of macabre, we've got Marvel Crypt of Shadows. Now, a lot of you will have seen the Werewolf by Night issue, one-shot episode. That was on the Disney Plus app recently. Love it, like shot in black and white, moving into colour. I won't talk about it too much just in case you haven't seen it. If you haven't, I do urge you watching it. It's great. Horror done really well, set within the Marvel Universe. Brilliant. This is exactly the same. 6 stories set within the Marvel Universe of horror. And when I say horror, it's proper good old school horror. Like, lest we forget, they made their name with these kind of books decades and decades ago, and they did them very well. It's lovely to see them to go back to them and to see it done really kind of bumper sized as well. So we're going to talk about another Crypt of Shadows cover in just a few minutes time, so stick with me. These, oh god, I'm all out sorts here. Bloody hell, I've properly mixed up the order this week. Trust me, I'm normally this disorganised, so don't worry about it. GCPD, this is a very harsh start look at the Gotham City Police Force in a modern era. Now, Gotham Central did it decades ago by Greg Rucka very well. That was very gritty. This is going to be quite a harsh look, I think, at all things Gotham, particularly when juxtaposed with what's happening in the real world. So if you fancy a really dark slice of life in with your comic book reading, maybe give that a shot. It definitely comes with a disclaimer from DC as well, so I'm expecting that to be really quite grim. Speaking of things not grim, this is going to be Harley Quinn, the animated series. I forget the title. Legion of Bats. That is absolutely exploring Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's relationship. Full on now relationship. DC are absolutely committed to exploring that, and it does so really quite sweetly in quite a mature outlook as well. So they're not dumbing it down. There's a lot in there which makes you think, wow, this is real life. So that's quite enjoyable to see and represented in a way, really. Marvel, there's a lot. You're not Marvel. Come on, Thomas. You know what you're doing. Flashpoint Beyond is still DC. Jeff Johns brings that part 6 of 6. Now we can move into Marvel. This is Midnight Suns. That is issue 2, very much tying into the game, which is coming out very shortly. We've got Miracle Man, the Silver Age. Now, this reprints issue 23 of the original Miracle Man, which was, of course, once upon a time called Marvel Man. At various times over the years, this has been published by Eclipse, Warrior Magazine, Marvel, Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman. There's been some massive names, titans of the industry involved in this book, and this was initially announced in 2015. It's been in purgatorial hell until now, and finally it's out. Gaiman and Buckingham are committed to this, so from issue 2 onwards you can get brand new Miracle Man material. I'd struggle to think of a more revolutionary book in the world of comics that kind of set the standard for what maturity in comics could be together. It's literally iconic, and it's been decades in the making. So I want to see where that goes, really, because it's not very often you can say those words all together. Predator issue 3 comes out now from Marvel. That's a massive book alongside Alien. At this point, we're all just waiting for the crossovers. That'd be fun. But we're going to pause for a few moments on this, because this is absolutely my cup of tea. Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue 1. Now, Juan Ferreira does the artwork for this, who I initially found on a series called Colder, done by Dark Horse years ago, which was a horrible, skin-crawling horror series. Exactly what you want. and he's using his skills here to great aplomb. This is Peter Parker dreaming or tripping his balls off, depending on what take you want to have on it. And that looks to be, well, it's certainly released in the right month, put it that way. That is a very distinct horror take on all things Peter Parker and the Spider-Man mythos. I expect that to go slightly under the radar because it is not as happy, clappy, trappy as normal as you go through all things Spider-Man. That is not your normal thing. That's going to get dark, grisly, and absolutely that sounds like my cup of tea, but I fully appreciate it may not be everyone's. Either way, that's a David Mack cover as well that I just wanted to slot super quickly into the video because that's lovely. A few quick indies, and we're going to move on to some very sexy covers. We've got the marked 3D Halloween special. It's in a bag, so I can't show you, but Brian Haberlein's artwork is to die for. There is an unbagged version, which I haven't got in the video right now. I have had a flick through it. It looks stunning. All right. Comes with glasses, so they've thought of you all. Right, more artwork here. Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. This is issue 6. This finishes up the part 1 of the first storyline. There's been an artwork change, I think, halfway along the way. It was already delicious, and now they're doing stuff like that, which is just incredible. If you're a fantasy fan, this series is just to die for. And it's not the end. Issue 7 drops very, very soon indeed. Opus Publishing are absolutely murdering it on all things fantasy and heavy metal. I'm living for it. Very cool. Deadly Class. Is that 56? It is. It's the end. This is Rick Remender's final issue of the Deadly Class. For all his kids and assassins murdering each other over the years, it's been a hell of a ride. This finishes Rick's run in comics right now. A Righteousness of Vengeance, 7 to Eternity, this. What else did he have coming out? There was something else which I forget.
Scumbag.
Scumbag. That's done. It's all over. Rick, we love you. Please come back. I don't know what I'm going to do without my Rick Remender fix. Alpha Betas. Now this comes in strong from the YouTube crossover shows of everyone who's a creator on YouTube right now is involved in this book. There's a lot of razzmatazz online telling you it's a massive crossover event for the decade. I'm telling you it looks like a Rick and Morty special crossover with, I don't know, Tron. It's going to get a little bit bonkers. No, it's Rick and Morty meets Tron. So that's out. Enjoy. And finally, my mate Don told me I always take the piss out of the intersection and I'm never serious about serious comics. So I'm going to be very serious about Sonic the Hedgehog now for 30 seconds. It's blue, it's out, he's on an island. Enjoy. Right. This is covers of the week. All covers of note, which I find to be a little bit interesting and deserve spotlighting for more than a few seconds. This is Jim Lee doing Batman One Bad Day, the Penguin cover B. Delicious. That's Jamal Campbell doing the Nightwing variant for this week. I swear that's riffing on a few big classic pieces over the years. Love that. This is just a regular Moon Knight cover. Steven Segovia, who definitely deserves a little bit of hype for that because that's just delicious again. Sandoval. You're going to hear a lot about Black Adam very shortly. That's the Black Adam variant for this week. This is Sosa Mackay. She's been tearing up on Catwoman covers recently. That's the cardstock cover B. I can't say enough kind words about this woman's artwork. She's absolutely fantastic. This is Ryan Brown doing a Crypt of Shadows variant. We did talk about this book a few minutes ago. If you have seen the episode I was talking about on the Marvel Wealth by Night, you'll know Man-Thing is epic. It's lovely to see him back on a Marvel cover. This is a Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man cover again. That's Casanova. Really, really enjoying Peter Parker's darker portrayal on these. This is Christopher Priest on a 1 in 25 variant this week. I have bagged it, so apologies if that's a bit shiny, but I love his use of negative space. That's just to die for. Absolutely delicious. That is the Predator 1 in 25 variant this week. That is Marco Mastrazzo. Again, some of these covers I'm showing you have been variants, 1 in 25s, but that's amazing. This is not a 1 in 25 variant or a ratio. This is just Kendrick Lim tearing it up, regular bog standard Carnage cover A, literally cover price, and it, oh my god, that could be one of the finest covers I've seen all year. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen, this week. I shall see you all very shortly. I'd say in about 7, but me and Rob have been doing a bunch of videos throughout the week, so I've probably seen about 4 hours. Enjoy!